Hello everyone, this is Akshay Jain. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And today we are going to start a new series on introduction to data science, in which we're going to discuss the first question of internal test one, which was conducted by International Institute of Professional Studies (DAVV) Indore. The question belongs to Part A, statistical characterization of feedback data. So let's move on to the first question. Here is the question first. Let's read it first. Give three more commonly used statistical measures for characterizing dispersion in student feedback data. Example, variation in teaching quality scores, lab facility ratings, or peer collaboration effectiveness. Discuss how these measures can be computed efficiently in large student databases. So, this question is asking us to discuss three statistical measures used to describe how spread out or variable the student feedback data is, and also how they can be efficiently computed for larger data sets. So let's move on to the next slide. What is dispersion? So for understanding the measures for dispersion, we first need to understand what is dispersion. Basically, dispersion measures how much data values differ from the average. Dispersion is the spread from the average. It indicates consistency or variability in students' ratings. Uh, so dispersion tells us if is the data variable, is the data consistent. Like we can take an example here, like if the average is 10, let's say for marks of students in a class for any test, the average is 10. So the data can be consistent. It means that all the students are getting marks near 10, 9, 10, 9, 10, and it can also mean that there is variability in student ratings, student marks. Like one student is getting 5, other student getting is 15, but in both the cases the average may be same. So the dispersion is very key measure for measuring the variability in student ratings or anything. Here we have another example. Two teachers may both have an average rating of 80, but one may have rating close to 80, while the other varies from 50 to 100. Exactly the example which I told. Example close, which tells us two teachers may both have an average rating of 80, but one may have rating close to 80, while the other varies from 50 to 100. Inconsistent. Here it shows a graph. This is the graph for low dispersion, means constant feedback. It means the average is 80, but there is a very low dispersion, very low variability in them. Here high dispersion means one is getting higher than 80, much higher than 80, one is getting very lower than 80. So this is how dispersion works. Let's move on to the next slide. Also, dispersion tells us how much the data point deviates from the mean value. In feedback analytics, this helps identify how consistent students' opinion are. A smaller spread means mostly students agree. A larger spread shows mixed feedback or inconsistent feedback. You can say. Let's move on to the fourth slide. Now the common measures of dispersion as asked. So first is range. Range it is the simplest measure and giving the differences between maximum and minimum ratings. Other is the next is variance. Variance measures how far ratings are spread out around the mean. Last one is standard deviation. It is a square root of variance, and it shows uh, spread in the units same as the data. Here is the graph showing effect of increasing standard deviation on distribution width. Let's move on to the next slide. So let's discuss the key takeaways from question first. First is dispersion. Dispersion, we have to remember always that dispersion is the measure of variability. And for dispersion, we have three common units or measures: range, variance, and standard deviation. They are the metrics or measures that helps us to determine the variability or dispersion in any data sets or larger data sets, any smaller or larger data sets. They help identify consistency, strength in feedback, and detect irregularities, as I said, essential for analyzing quality, satisfaction, and faculty performance. To summarize, these three measures, range variation and standard deviation, they help to quantify how consistent or diverse feedback responses are. Understanding dispersion is fundamental skill in feedback analytics and broader data science. We need this skill of dispersion in the fundament because it is the fundamental skill in feedback analytics. So this brought us to the end of our first video. Thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to check out the next video in this series, where we'll be covering our question second.